Hi, my name is Eurae Muhn. I teach in the English department on the Rockville campus. ATPA has a very special place in my heart because I used to be the program coordinator for the embedded support program. And Professor Levey, also a special place in my heart. I think I brought her on board several years ago. I can't remember how long ago it was. But as soon as I got her on the phone and asked if she was interested in this role, I knew that we had to have her on the team. And I try my best to snatch her up as my coach every semester. So I think we've worked together at least like 5 or 6 times now. And so we have a really nice rapport and a good system going between the two of us. I'm very, very thankful for her.
I'm Tamar Levey. I am an adjunct professor in the English department at Montgomery College, though I haven't taught now in several semesters. I love working with Eurae. I love being an embedded coach. I think that the support is entirely necessary. And I think one of the things I like to do when I meet students initially, both through email and when I attend class, is to remind them I'm not grading you. I'm not hounding you. I am simply here to support you in whatever ways you need support. And for me, I think my favorite way to support students is to be present in the class once a week. And I think that when I am present in the class once a week, the various professors that I've worked with have taken advantage of having working sessions, workshops, and I literally stand up and I walk around the class and I sit down next to students and I ask them questions. And then it gives me the opportunity to say, hey, why don't we follow up together after class? Let's pick a date. Do you want to send me your paper? What works best for you?
I just want to piggyback off of that and say that, because so many studies show that students who either feel hesitant about asking for help or students from underrepresented backgrounds, oftentimes the trend is that unless there is a relationship of trust and there's a relationship where the student feels quite comfortable with being in the presence of a faculty or staff member, a lot of times, even if a student is struggling academically, they won't reach out for help in many cases, not all cases. And so I want to really emphasize that I agree with Tamar that her presence in the classroom every week and the students knowing that she is a reliable, knowledgeable figure who's going to be there and who is aligned with my teaching philosophy, understands the content, is a content expert, and truly cares about them. I think they really got that sense from her that she's a warm person who's there to support them. And something that Tamar's really good at is also participating in class discussion. So whenever I provided lecture, she would, raise her hand if nobody else was talking or add on to something that I was saying that maybe I had forgotten or overlooked. And so I always feel like we're partners in this work. Not that there's any like hierarchy or anything like that. And so I think that works really well for this type of program. And maybe Kay, Aisha, and Julian can share a little bit about what was helpful for you in terms of how did you know Professor Levey was available to help you? How could you tell that she was someone who was a safe person to work with? What in particular was helpful inside the classroom, outside of the classroom? In case you all are going to take your time deciding who's going to go first, I'm just going to say Kay, then Aisha, then Julian. Can you share your experiences with us?
Actually, can I go first?
Oh, who go first? Me?
Let me just go first.
Yeah, please.
Okay. So my name is Kay and it's Kay. So having Professor Levey in our classroom, it was really helpful. I mean, just have someone there to help you and support you is really good. And it's easy to catch on every topic because she's always there. So every time you ask her about something, she already know what are we doing. So I don't have to like, oh, we doing this or that. And she always support and give idea and support. She always go like ask you like how you doing, do you need any help. It was nice just to have someone ask you how you're doing. I think it was really good to have her in our classroom. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Kay. Aisha, did you want to share next?
All right, for me, Professor Levey made it really easy to reach out to her outside of class, because during classes, she would inform us on her available days, when she would say that, oh, she couldn't be available on Saturday because she had this to do. And I knew instantly, like, okay, I need to reach out to her before then or after then. And I felt very comfortable because Professor Levey was very welcoming and friendly in class and would walk around the class to check up on our progress, which made me feel comfortable enough to reach out to her out of class because I knew how she would react. And Professor Muhn introduced Levey the first day of class. So we got to really know Professor Levey in the beginning. And throughout the semester, Professor Muhn would remind us that Professor Levey is available and is a tool for us to use whenever we want. So it was very hard to forget that Professor Levey was there for us. And I really do recommend that a lot of professors use HCPA embedded coaches, because I think it just offers more feedback for students. For me personally, I loved having a second opinion on my essay before presenting it to Professor Moon. Also, Professor Levey made it very easy to work on our writing and enhance it and develop it, because she offered links and suggestions, and I found myself using a lot of her links.
Thanks, Aisha.
Yeah, so Professor Levy was really good. I feel like she really helped like everyone out in the class, especially me, mainly because I'm not really that much of a strong writer, but after this class, like I felt like it really improved on my writing, and especially with Professor Levy being there, I basically like would just write down my essays and just kind of complete it and then send it to her, and she would just edit it for me, give me suggestions. It was really helpful because like I like having a second opinion on my essays, and it's really like very kind of worthy that she kind of did that. And and also like kind of the grammar mistakes that I kind of had really kind of like, it was very fixable, and she was really a good professor. And Professor Moon kind of introduced us, as Aisha said, in the beginning of class, and she always let us know that she's a tool for us to use, and that it should be used, and that we should just take kind of not really like take advantage, but kind of like taking advantage of her, just because she was always up and running, trying to see like who needs help, and if anyone needs help, if anyone's struggling. She was very welcoming, very heartwarming, and I'm very thankful of her.
Thanks, you all. I really appreciate that. I want to add one more piece of information, and then if anyone has specific questions for us or for the students, I'd be happy to answer. But as an instructor who, you know, if you're teaching full-time and you're teaching 4 or 5 classes and you have over 100 students, it's really difficult to get those additional resources out to your students that always get pushed to faculty members, like job fairs and workshops and learning centers and you know, mobile markets. And that's something else that embedded coaches do. They push out those resources that maybe instructors don't have the capacity or the bandwidth to support our students with outside of the classroom. So I really, really appreciate that. Oh, and the last thing I'll share before you all ask questions, if you have any, is that I taught another 102 section this semester, and I could not find a coach for that class. And the performance rate was pretty distinct between the two. I know there are tons of contributing factors that can lead to a specific result, but I want to say that part of the reason why my embedded coach section performed significantly higher is because they had an entrusted person to go to in addition to me. So they were going to my office hours and also receiving this extra support from Professor Levy. I really do think it makes a big difference.
I want to say thank you so much for all of the beautiful words to Kay and Aisha and Julian. And what a pleasure it was, obviously, to work with everyone. One of the tactics I also use is, as Eurae was saying, is I really try to do my own sort of personal phishing emails by sending out job fair notices, transfer fair notices, mobile markets, hey, everybody, just a reminder, don't miss out. And also to the Writing Center, because I don't ever want a student to think that my support is somehow more important or more valuable than the Writing Center. And the goal, of course, of the program is to let them know that there are so many different ways to find support. I think between those type of outreaches and attending class, for me, it's also the most meaningful way to connect with students.
I feel like I need a microphone to drop, right? That is just, I think that the expertise and the experience and the care in the room is on full display. I want to just ask our students, because you're here and I'm so excited that you're here. Do any of our students have any tips? What could coaches or instructors do to help encourage more students to connect with resources, coaching? Tamar mentioned tutoring, mobile markets. We'd just love to hear from you. Just what worked for you? What else could we do to really help ensure that students are taking advantage of what's available?
Oh, well, for me, Professor Muhn and Professor Levey, they would email us about help and what things that resources that we can use. But I didn't find myself really looking through those emails, only because my school email has a lot of things. Like I always get messages and I kind of just focus on the really important ones, maybe about financial aid or stuff like that. And so I tend to just avoid my email altogether. But what really helped me was the constant reminder by Professor Muhn and Professor Levey in class, because I was there, I was present, and I couldn't really just tune it out. It was there for me. And it's also when Professor Muhn, when we would have our the beginning of the semester and the end of the semester meetings, would also remind us there are resources. And when I would, I think the first part of the first semester, when I did have that meeting, I went to a building that I've never been to before. And I don't know what building it was, but when I entered the building, I didn't even know what it was. So I got to really understand that, oh my God, there are resources in this building that I could use that I didn't even know. And yeah, and that really helped me, oh my God, there are resources in this college that I can use and it will be really helpful for me.
Some things that they really did well was kind of have all the resources in basically one file, and you can just go there, and it was so organized, and you can just kind of go there and kind of make sure that there was all these resources. And also in emails too, Professor Levey and also Professor Muhn would email us about all the resources that whether it has job fairs, transfer things, or even citations. Some of our classmates kind of confused about MLA citations or what things should go in which. And Professor Muhn actually went out of her way and gave her a resource to how to do it, and that was really helpful.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
you can take it home. You're the last to speak.
Yes. As for me, just having extra information, it was really helpful. Not just having all the information in the classroom, but outside, it was really helpful. Writing center or coaching, ATP, I wasn't really know because it was my first year of college. So everything was new, but just having someone to tell me that, oh, there's place to support you or find a resource. It was really nice to having, and thank you for Professor Muhn and Professor Levey that give out the information and resource that make me really comfortable of doing my work and also outside of the classroom. So I think it was really nice that have that information and support outside of the classroom. Yeah, thank you.